The hustle and bustle of modern existence often creates a thick veil of static that prevents us from perceiving the most important relationship we will ever cultivate. While we navigate the complexities of our careers, our families, and our personal struggles, there is a sublime and dedicated force of unconditional love that seeks to penetrate our distractions. This is not a vague concept or a mere poetic sentiment, but a fundamental reality that has been studied, codified, and validated by history's most profound spiritual thinkers. When you experience a sudden shift in perspective, a moment of unearned peace, or a flash of insight that solves a long-standing dilemma, you are catching a glimpse of the signature of your spiritual guide. These entities are not external strangers, but companions assigned to your soul since its first breath in this physical body. They operate beyond the noise of the material world, utilizing the power of thought and vibration to nudge you toward your highest potential. Throughout this exploration, we will look into the depths of the invisible world as documented by Allan Kardec, investigating how these guardians function, why they choose to assist us, and the specific signals they use to alert us to their presence. Understanding this connection is the key to moving from a state of existential loneliness into a life defined by a sense of divine partnership. This knowledge serves as a map for the soul, ensuring that you recognize the call of your protector before the noise of the world drowns it out entirely, allowing you to walk your path with a renewed sense of confidence and protection. The foundation of our understanding of spiritual companionship rests upon the work of Allan Kardec, particularly within the pages of the Spirit's Book, where the hierarchy of the invisible world is mapped with scientific precision. According to these teachings, no soul is left to wander the earth in total isolation. At the moment of our incarnation, a high-level entity, often referred to as a guardian angel or spirit protector, accepts the mission to accompany us throughout our earthly pilgrimage. This being is of a higher moral and intellectual standing, functioning as a mentor whose sole objective is to foster our ethical and intellectual progress. These guardians are not assigned randomly. They are bound to us by laws of affinity and love, often having shared previous existences with us, which gives them a profound understanding of our unique karmic challenges and emotional triggers. They perceive the dangers we cannot see and recognize the pitfalls of our character that lead us into suffering. However, their primary challenge lies in the fact that they must guide us without violating our free will, which is the cornerstone of human evolution. If they were to manifest physically or intervene in a way that compelled our obedience, our growth would be artificial. Therefore, they work in the shadows of our consciousness, suggesting rather than demanding and inspiring rather than commanding. This silent guardianship is a testament to their patience and devotion as they witness our mistakes and our triumphs, always ready to offer a helping hand should we choose to reach out. To acknowledge their presence is to recognize that we are part of a vast, interconnected network of life that transcends the physical senses, ensuring that even in our darkest hours, a light is being held for us by a friend who knows our eternal worth. The most frequent and effective tool used by our spiritual guides is the implementation of thoughts directly into our mental field, a process that Kardec describes as the interaction between spirit and mind. Most people believe that every thought that crosses their consciousness is a product of their own brain. Yet the reality is far more collaborative. Our guides act as subtle influences, projecting ideas and inspirations that resonate with our better nature. You might be in the middle of a heated argument when a sudden, cooling thought of forgiveness enters your mind, or you might be about to make a risky decision when a distinct sense of hesitation stops you in your tracks. These are the whispers of the guide. Edgar Cayce, the noted mystic, also supported this view, explaining that the subconscious mind acts as a receiver for these higher frequencies. When we are in a state of receptivity, meaning we have calmed the ego and stilled the constant churn of material desire, we become more capable of distinguishing these external inspirations from our internal monologue. These spiritual prompts are characterized by their clarity, their lack of selfish motive, and their focus on long-term well-being rather than short-term gratification. By paying attention to these first thoughts that offer solutions or promote peace, we begin to develop a dialogue with the invisible. This is the first level of the spiritual call, where the guide attempts to steer the protective vessel of our life away from the jagged rocks of impulsivity. It requires a refined level of self-awareness to notice these prompts, But as one practices this sensitivity, the voice of the guide becomes a reliable compass in a world that is often disorienting. It is common for individuals to question why, if they have such powerful protectors, they still face suffering, loss, and pain. The teachings of Spiritism offer a profound answer by clarifying the difference between our material desires and our spiritual needs. A guide's primary responsibility is not to make our lives comfortable, but to make our souls mature. Allan Kardec noted that if our protectors solved every problem for us, we would remain spiritual infants, never developing the resilience or the wisdom required to advance to higher states of existence. Therefore, the guide often stands back to allow us to face the consequences of our choices or to endure the trials that provide the necessary friction for growth. A challenge that seems like a tragedy to the human ego might be viewed as a vital purification by the spiritual mentor. They understand that the scars of the soul are often the marks of earned wisdom. Their role is to provide the strength to endure and the perspective to learn, rather than to remove the obstacle entirely. This high-level perspective allows the guide to act with a tough love that prioritizes our eternal destiny over our temporary ease. When we pray for guidance, the response often comes not as the removal of the burden, but as an infusion of the courage needed to carry it. This realization transforms our relationship with adversity. Instead of feeling abandoned by the divine in moments of crisis, we can look for the hidden lesson the guide is helping us uncover. By aligning our will with this evolutionary goal, we stop resisting the necessary lessons of life and start cooperating with the forces of our own advancement. One of the most fascinating aspects of our relationship with the spiritual world occurs while we are unconscious. During the hours of sleep, the tie between the spirit and the body is loosened, allowing the perispirit, the semi-material envelope of the soul, to experience a degree of emancipation. In this state, we are capable of traveling to spiritual dimensions and interacting more directly with our guides and deceased loved ones. Many of the dreams we dismiss as chaotic or meaningless are actually fragmented memories of these real spiritual encounters. Allan Kardec's research suggests that these meetings serve several purposes. They offer us comfort, they provide instruction that we might be too distracted to receive during the day, and they allow for a recharge of our vital energy through contact with higher vibrations. It is during these nocturnal journeys that the guide can speak to us with greater clarity, showing us symbols or narratives that we can decode upon waking. You may wake up with a sudden solution to a problem you hadn't even been consciously thinking about, or with a sense of peace that doesn't match your current circumstances. These are the gifts brought back from the spiritual plane. Chico Xavier, through his extensive work, demonstrated that these dream meetings are essential for keeping the human spirit anchored in its divine origin. To make the most of this signal, one should prepare for sleep as if entering a temple, using prayer or quiet contemplation to set a high vibrational intent, thereby ensuring that the soul gravitates toward elevated circles and the company of its true mentors. Beyond the internal world of thought and dreams, the guides manifest their presence through the external world by manipulating the chain of coincidences, a phenomenon often called synchronicity. To the skeptic, life is a series of random events, but to the student of Kardec, it is a meticulously woven tapestry. The guides, possessing a wider view of time and probability, are capable of arranging meetings, timing events, and directing our attention to specific information at the exact moment we need it. Have you ever missed a train only to meet an old friend on the platform who offers you a job opportunity? Or have you felt a sudden urge to take a different route home, only to find out later you avoided a dangerous accident? These are not mere accidents of fate. They are the interventions of the guardian spirits. They operate within the laws of nature to ensure that certain outcomes are met for our protection or our learning. Recognizing these moments requires us to look at our lives not as a series of disjointed fragments, but as a coherent narrative. The guide's call often manifests as a repeating theme, a specific phrase heard in multiple places, a recurring number, or a song that carries a relevant message. By documenting these occurrences and expressing gratitude for them, we sharpen our perception of the guide's active work in our material reality. This acknowledgement builds a bridge of awareness that allows the guide to provide even more precise signs, creating a collaborative dance between the human actor and the spiritual director. There are historical records and contemporary accounts that transcend simple intuition and enter the realm of the miraculous, proving the protective power of the spiritual hierarchy. Allan Kardec documented numerous cases where individuals were saved from physical ruin or certain death by the direct intervention of spirits. One famous example involved a father who was inexplicably compelled to move his family out of a house just days before it collapsed due to hidden structural rot. In another instance, a woman was guided to a specific pharmacy where she met a person who held the key to her family's survival during a period of extreme poverty. These stories highlight that while guides prioritize our spiritual health, they are also deeply concerned with our physical preservation when our mission on earth is not yet complete. Chico Xavier often spoke of the protection of the humble, where those who serve others with sincere hearts are granted a special shield of energetic defense. This protection is not a magical charm, but a result of the guide's ability to influence the environment and the minds of others to create a safety net for their charge. These interventions remind us that we are never truly defenseless. Even when the world seems cold and indifferent, the unseen hands of the guardians are constantly working to balance the scales. To witness these miracles in one's own life requires a heart that is open to the possibility of help, and a life that is lived in alignment with the values of charity and love, which provide the best energetic environment for a guide to act. The connection between a human being and a spiritual guide is governed by vibrational laws similar to those found in physics. Every thought and emotion we emit has a specific frequency, and like attracts like in the invisible world. Allan Kardec emphasized that the quality of our spirit connection depends entirely on our own moral state. When we dwell in resentment, fear, or selfishness, we lower our vibration, making it difficult for the high-frequency messages of our guides to reach us. Conversely, the vibration of gratitude acts as a powerful antenna that synchronizes us with the spiritual realms of light. Gratitude is not just a polite social gesture. It is an energetic statement that acknowledges the abundance of life and the presence of help. By expressing thankfulness for the protection we receive, even before we see its results, on the faith that we are being watched over, we create a clear channel for communication. This is what Divaldo Franco calls the docility of the heart, an openness that allows the spirit guides to deposit their seeds of inspiration into a fertile mental ground. Faith in this context is not a blind belief but a rational confidence in the laws of the universe and the goodness of the Creator's plan. By cultivating a positive and grateful internal environment, we make the guide's job infinitely easier, moving from a static-filled connection to a clear, high-definition dialogue that illuminates every step of our journey. While the call of a guide is a source of great comfort, Allan Kardec issued serious warnings about the need for discernment, as the spiritual world is populated by entities of all moral levels. Just as there are people on earth who seek to deceive or confuse, there are spirits who remain tied to lower desires, and who may mimic the language of guidance to gain influence over a human mind. This is why Kardec developed the method of universal validation for spiritual communications. A message from a true guide will always be consistent with the highest moral laws. It will promote peace, universal love, humility, and rational thought. If a voice or intuition encourages pride, vengeance, material greed, or the blind following of an individual, it is not the guide speaking, but a lower influence attempting to derail the soul. The true protector never flatters the ego nor dictates life choices with an authoritative tone. Instead, they appeal to our reason and our conscience. We must learn to weigh every internal prompt against the scale of ethics. As we develop our spiritual sensitivity, we must also develop our critical thinking skills. Chico Xavier always said that if a message does not promote the welfare of all, it is not from a source of light. By maintaining a strict standard of personal morality and an active intellect, we build a defensive barrier that prevents negative entities from interfering with our sacred connection to our true mentors. The communication with one's guide is not an accidental occurrence but a relationship that must be nurtured through intentional practice. To hear the subtle call of the spirit, one must create a mental sanctuary, a space in time and thought that is free from the frantic pace of the world. This can be achieved through regular prayer, which Kardec defines not as a mechanical repetition of words, but as an elevation of the thought toward the divine. Prayer changes our energetic atmosphere, attracting the attention of spirits who resonate with our desire for goodness. It is helpful to set aside a specific time each day for silence and reflection, inviting the guide to participate in the day carved out quiet. This practice is akin to clearing the weeds from a garden so that the flowers can grow. In this space of peace, you can ask for clarity on specific issues, not expecting an audible voice, but watching for the impressions and ideas that emerge in the following hours or days. The guide honors the effort of the protégé. When we show that we are willing to listen, they are eager to speak. This consistency creates a familiar vibrational path that makes communication smoother over time. By turning our inner world into a temple of peace, we provide a welcoming home for the influence of the guardians, ensuring that we are never far from the sound of their loving wisdom. The final and perhaps most important way we strengthen the bond with our guides is through the quality of our actions in the material world. Allan Kardec's central maxim, "Outside of charity, there is no salvation," has a deep energetic meaning regarding spiritual protection. When we perform acts of sincere kindness, when we help a neighbor without expectation of reward, or when we control our impulses for the sake of another's peace, we are literally weaving a protective shield around our soul. These moral choices align us with the frequency of the guides themselves, who are defined by their service to others. Charity acts as a repellent for lower parasitic spirits who can only find purchase in an environment of selfishness or malice. By living a life of service, we become a luminous point in the dark, and our guides work tirelessly to preserve that light so it can help others. This is the highest level of responsiveness to the guide's call. It is not enough to just listen to their words. We must act on their principles. When we become instruments of goodness on earth, we enter into a true partnership with our mentors, participating in the divine work of evolution. Our guides do not just walk beside us, they walk through us when we allow our hands to do the work of love. In doing so, we ensure that the call of the Spirit is answered through the reality of a transformed life. The call of your spiritual guide is a constant, rhythmic pulse of love that exists beneath the surface of your every waking moment. It is the intuition that saves you, the dream that comforts you, the coincidence that guides you, and the inner strength that upholds you during the trials of life. Allan Kardec's codification of these truths was not meant to be a static theory, but a living practice that rescues the human spirit from the despair of materialist isolation. By acknowledging these silent guardians, listening to their mental prompts and aligning your actions with their high moral standard, you open a doorway to a dimension of reality where help is always available and no tear goes unnoticed. You are a part of an eternal family, a student in a vast school of life, and you have been assigned a personal tutor of immense wisdom and patience. Do not let another day pass in the silence of ignorance. Reach out in thought, express your gratitude, and refine your conduct to match the vibration of those who watch over you. The signals are present in your life right now, waiting for your attention. As you become more aware of this sacred connection, you will find that fear loses its grip and a new, unshakable confidence takes its place. You are loved, you are protected, and you are never truly alone. The curtain has been lifted, and the dialogue has begun. All that remains is for you to listen with your heart and respond with your life.